Yeah. I always get these ideas in my head, like, I'll do a live video tonight. That'll be fun. And you know when I plan things like that? When my children are at school. And it's like I have a brief moment where I forget that I actually have children and that I have husbands who play tennis. Yes, I'm married to Nadal. No, I'm not. Hi, Janie. I actually suggested that he go play tennis because after I get people to bed, I'm going to continue cleaning this brass bed I got on the Facebook page. Hi. Hi. For $50. Hello from Southern West Virginia. Well, hi, Katie. Debbie. Oh, y'all are all perky. Oh, there's some of my supporters. Nancy, hi. You have dirt in your. Get the dirt out of your nose. Wipe your nose. Oh, thanks. We are excited that we sold our house. So we just went. We had a big afternoon today. We went to the strawberry patch, and for the very first time, Amos picked strawberries. Maybe like 5, but that was good, and he did not stomp strawberries. Brad, yes. Big Thomas really enjoys activities that are at night and at bedtime. He swears he doesn't play golf because he said, I can't play golf, it takes too long. He plays tennis because he can play at night. He can't play golf at night. Also, he's a real fan of windsurfing, as you know, from his Camp Moorhead days. So we've just been to take the dog swimming and to get in the dirt. Hi, Ashley. Ashley, I did a supporter video this morning. We have another one tomorrow. Today's was sort of serious. We talked about what happened in Boone. So really, the point of my video, use tomato juice on brass. Well, now you tell me I've spent $20 on brass cleaner at Byram's. Skinny Dip in Charleston. Oh my gosh, I bought a sweatshirt at that store, and holy crap, I can't get into it. Shocker. Hi from your old hometown. Did you delete the lunchtime video from today? No, Bill, it's still on there. We're going to do one tomorrow morning at 9. Best news, we had our IEP meeting. Ooh. Okay, I want to hear about that tomorrow. So tonight's video, I was just going to, and my friend Elizabeth, so go to Instagram, my friend Elizabeth Bryant wrote me probably one of the nicest compliments I've ever had. So her boys, we carpooled together and I took them strawberry picking. Do you see what I have on? That's coffee. What's that? Oh, that's barbecue sauce from my rotisserie chicken that I doused with Bunn's barbecue sauce. And I have on my pajama shorts. But anyway, it was the nicest thing. So, just super nice to have a nice friend. So today I wrote this post about testing. So end of the year testing. Can y'all hear me with the turned bathtub running? End of the year testing has been on my mind for a while. Well, every year it's on my mind. But this year particularly with... You have mud in your nose. Let's get the mud out. How did you get dirt up your nose? Ew. We were mining. And this year, particularly with COVID and virtual school, and I don't know what other states are doing. North Carolina, obviously, is not where everybody's from, but North Carolina, you cannot opt out of testing. That doesn't mean that you can't not take the test, but it means there is no opt-out, formal opt-out measure. So as a parent, you think, well, what do I care? But I will tell you the difference is, at some point, they count end of course EOGs, they might count them as part of their grade, and so then if you don't take it, you're in trouble. Ashley, come be a supporter. I would love it. Jack's had it today. 8th grade science and didn't go. Okay, Jennifer, I totally get that. So years ago, this is the true story. I met Governor Cooper. His wife was speaking, and my niece was graduating from St. Mary's in Raleigh. It's been 3 or 4 years ago. And Governor Cooper was there. And, you know, unlike most people, I didn't just smile and wave. I like marched myself up there and was like, hello, I'm, Adrian, and I have a question about end of the year testing. I think at that point, Russell, maybe it was 4 years ago, was like in third grade. So stressful. And there are people that are like, well, if the parents don't make it stressful, it's not stressful. Lies. All lies. I don't care about testing. I do not. And my children still have like a panic over it. Russell cried about testing. I remember Thomas was like, if I get a 5 on my EOG, can I get headphones? I was like, we're going to get you those headphones right now. Mommy does not care about testing. So anyway, so Governor Cooper says to my response, well, you should call my administrative assistant, so-and-so and so-and-so. So I do. I call her on like that Monday. And I'm like, Governor Cooper told me to call you and talk to you about this testing. This is a true story. And she says, oh, so my kids actually don't take the test. What? She was like, yeah, so what I do is they don't go on testing days, and then at some point they go and sign their name. So if you sign your name, the school system or the state, you have to have 95% of your students that take a test so that you get federal funding. Now, the reality is no school in the country has ever lost federal funding from testing. Cooper is hiding from you. This is probably why, because I tell the story. And so she basically just tells me a way to get around not being tested. I was like, that's not the answer I was looking for from our governor. No offense, but no. On one hand, I think testing this year I'm not against testing in general. On one hand, I think it's important to do something so that we actually know where our kids are next year when they start back in person, especially for districts that have been out. But do I think we should have school grades? So a school grade is, you ready to get out? A school grade, A, B, C, D, is, oh, Lisa, has more to do with, hold on, let me get you a towel, has more to do with the population of your student body, let's be honest. So somehow wealthier schools get better school grades. Higher poverty schools get worse school grades. Hi, you gonna say, you miss me? Well, I hadn't been anywhere. Hi. Do you like to take tests? No. No. No, not test. Michelle, we had a lunch video today. Tomorrow we're having coffee chat in the morning. Here, let's get all nice and dry. Sorry. Let me turn on the light. What was I saying? Oh my God. This is the story of my life. Now I can't remember. Oh, I'm not again. Oh, well, hell, where's the iPad? Sissy, where's the iPad? Oh my God. Amos, let me find it. So, Susan, I was just saying, in North Carolina, you can't opt out. There is no opt-out option. You cannot go. But I think Georgia has an opt-out option where it's a formal process. Now, schools want you to take the test because they're worried about their funding, which it's hard to blame them. I mean, honestly, right? Because especially where we live, we get so much less money anyway because of North Carolina's funding formula that we need all the money we can get. Honey, I'm helping you. I'm trying to find the iPad. Oh, here's Daddy's. Sorry. Okay, here's Daddy's iPad. Yeah. Proctored exam. Ugh. Here you go. There you go. Oh, wait. Let me. Oh, you gotta get your jammies on. Hold on. T. B. There. Yeah. Sorry, this is normal. Private school, there's so many kids. Well, I mean, growing up, we had, and I went to private school, I guess, but we had the CAT test, and I was excited. You got 2 new pencils, and you always did great, where I did a 98. I think my parents thought I was going to, be some, prodigal daughter. And then, I never could break 1,000 on the SAT. So, anyway, if you have any testing questions ask me them because I'm glad to answer. And every day for the next week, I'm going to put up an education post just about facts and details and kind of myths versus truth. So a lot of times, like today, people are like, it's Biden's fault. Biden wouldn't let us out of testing. Well, if you look at the federal guidelines for testing that lasted through Betsy, the federal guidelines are not bad at all. You test one time a year. You shouldn't test more than 20 hours of the school year is the total amount spent testing. We spend way more time than that. If you include test prep and like benchmarks and check-ins, bad. The federal government doesn't say that you have to do multiple choice tests. You could do a portfolio assessment. So they really make it pretty versatile. But for some reason, North Carolina, with Berger's Read to Achieve, we love to test. And then we like to pay teachers based on their children's scores. Now, some of you might say, well, maybe this motivates teachers. That's like motivating a doctor on the number of patients that stay alive after surgery. If you're in this profession, you clearly want to do a good job. Russell had this teacher, one of the few teachers I haven't liked, because I love our teachers. And this teacher was only in our district for 1 year. I swear she came over, made about 17,000. She turned out good test scores, but me not like her. What rather happened to her? I'm not going to say her name. So anyway, 3 times a year plus state and end of year testing. And in North Carolina, it depends on what district you're in. So it's all cattywampus. The one thing I like about EOGs in a normal year is that they tell me how my children are doing as measured to a child in Wake County or Mecklenburg or some other fancy place, So if Blair gets a 5 on her EOG, then I know, well, she's being measured against kids in Charlotte, right? The CAT test is the California Achievement Test. I don't know what the hell it is. It's like an aptitude test. Growth should be the focus. Yes, Donna. So Donna says, I'm a teacher in a low-performing school. So low-performing schools typically are high-poverty schools, right? And unless they're not. So you might remember Coastal Prep was a charter school in New Hanover County, and they were the second lowest performing school in the entire state. And they had less than 5% low-income children. So you saw a wealthy school do horrible. Well, in that case, you can be like, bing, bang, bang, something's going on bad here, right? Like, it bad. So there you go. So that was a good sign about it. But if you live in an area like I do, though our school, I think a couple years ago, was the only school in the state that went from a D to a B. And they worked hard. Claire, Claire, come be a supporter. For real fun. This is like the rated G version of the regular videos. Anyway, I'm trying to think of anything else. Y'all aren't asking me any questions. I think the biggest thing I saw today was the whole you can opt out. You can't. You can skip. But I would recommend signing your name so that the schools don't worry about losing their funding. The last thing I need to do is have public schools mad at me for telling people not to go. Will I have Amos be tested when he's in the 3rd grade? That's a question I have for myself. I don't know. Right now, I wouldn't put him through something like that. Because what's the point? With special needs kids, you can use M&Ms and put them on the answers. And I think what's super hard, like if Amos just was, if we knew he does have a developmental delay, let's be honest. But he also has these, we know his brain is sharp, but he can't get past an A letter on the M class for reading. But he can if you go in there right now and say, how do you spell Thailand? He can do it, No, this isn't the supporter group, Heather. You're safe. Supporter group's tomorrow at 9. Mecklenburg isn't fancy. It's messed up. Yeah, so all three of my children have stressed about EOGs, and I am the least into EOGs of any person. So if my children are like that, then what if parents were like that? I remember Russell came home. I'll put the link in the thing, Claire, after the video. When somebody, I remember Russell came home, and I don't know what grade it was in, and a girl in his class had like drawn this cartoon, and it was like, you can do it. You're going to get a 5 on the EOG. And I just threw it away as I've been packing, because I was like, I mean, like comics, EOG comics. But you know, poor schools like mine are struggling. They toss this grade on you, and the grade is a big deal. People want to move to Edenton, and they say, whoa, your school's a B. Well, that's really good. Or you're a D. Oh no, what are we going to do? It's tricky. I'm a teacher, and I don't like EOGs. You know, good teachers teach. Good teachers teach. They just do. And we don't need to worry about what the kids are learning. And let's be honest, could you pass a U.S. history exam right now if you took one? I couldn't. I don't even think I can do I don't even know if I know what a parallelogram is anymore. So all these things you're going to forget eventually anyway. So it's really the process of learning and critical thinking. Can't we just focus on that? Writing, holy cow, writing is huge. I remember the essay question for my 6th grade writing. I don't remember that. But anyway, I'm sad that integrate testing is happening in the way it's happening. I think it'd be great if we just said, hey, we're going to just do some assessments because we want next year to be a fresh start. We know we're going to have some struggling. And I feel like our teachers have not been pushing testing, so maybe my school system's not. But I know at the state level, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I don't like that. Especially when legislators, my friend Justin Parmenter was writing that he was talking about how having to teach a virtual group and then an in-person group, he was having to shorten the time that he was teaching. And he was like, I'm not getting to, polluting the ocean, like some topics I wanted to hit. And a legislator was like, well, I mean, they're just indoctrinating our children. Is pollution indoctrinating? Like when you have people that you have voted to represent you and they're actually not representing our children, then you don't want them there. Zach Hawkins, great. Jeff Jackson, great. Garrett, Senator Michael Garrett, great. You want people to hear you and know you and want to support you in your community. And I think the last thing I'll say is I met with my superintendent a couple days ago, and so we don't have Spanish or foreign language in middle school. And I said, are we going to have it next year? I've really want it. Like my son Thomas this year is the only person that hadn't had Spanish in Spanish 1. In Raleigh, if you go to Oberlin Middle, you can take Mandarin, Spanish, and something else. Yet if you live in Edenton, you can't. And so I said to him, I was like, I realize it's not your fault. Like, it's really not, because we don't get the money. We do not get the money. Money is on your property tax base. So if you live somewhere with high property values, you're going to get more money than we get. So like he was telling me, we have funding for 4.6 special positions, I think, like at the middle school. So then you have to choose STEM, music, Spanish. How do you choose for 450 kids the 4 classes you're going to take and what benefits everybody? It's really hard. And then we're getting graded on our school grade, yet we don't have the money. Like, it's public school. You can't, where are we supposed to get the money? Anyway. So the problem is fairly large. And I get it. Maybe you live in Raleigh so you can have access to those schools. But I think if you're going to look at the big picture, you want people in Eastern North Carolina, small towns, to also have access to good education because we know how far it goes in the long run and how it improves our whole state. No foreign language in Lenore County until high school. Yeah. And Martha, it's not because Lenore County doesn't want to have Spanish. They don't have the money for that person. Yeah, so Heather, when I was in grad school, they wrote, this is back when they had chalkboards at NC State, and I remember my professor wrote the formula for how North Carolina doles out money, and it was 3 or 2.5 rows on the blackboard. And so it's, you get, the state gives you a certain amount, and then you get a certain amount depending on where you live. So the where you live part is huge. So in Wake County, I think it's about $4,000 additional dollars per child. So if we have a school of 450 kids, what's that? 400 times 4,000. What is it? 160,000? Is that right? 180,000? Something. Anyway, someone do the math. I swear I got a PhD. You just can't remember. My child's middle school in Durham does not have foreign language. Well, Heather, then I would ask, because if I lived in a system that had, and I don't know what your money is per child, but if I lived in a system that had money and we didn't have foreign language, I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where's the money going? We do have school nurses, and we have, there's a bill right now that's looking to have a school psychologist at each school, which would be awesome. I think we have 2 school psychologists for the whole district. 1.6 million. Thank you, Molly. I'm glad that I said 160,000. Just off by a wee tiny bit. So $1.6 million. If I went to my superintendent and said, here's $1.6 million, what can you do at the school? A F load. You could do a ton, right? A ton. Oh, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But yet, like, we love where we live. I don't want to go live in some big town. We have the best teachers. I mean, they are so good. They are as good as it gets. It simply comes down to financing positions in a school in poverty. I've never seen a school nurse in Wake. Oh yeah, we've got school nurses. The other thing we have that's really awesome, and it's just kind of come to my attention, or it's on my radar because it's important to me, and I didn't know it would be. So my kids, so at our middle school, we have soccer, co-ed wrestling, girls basketball, boys softball, boys baseball, volleyball, track, and co-ed cross country. That's a lot of sports. And the counties around us, like, we have a hard time finding people to play because the counties around us don't have those things. I will tell you, like, you don't have to, I think you generally make the wrestling team and you make cross country and you make track, which are the sports Russell has played, and he loves it. Well, he doesn't love it. He enjoys the camaraderie and being on a team. And then I have this good friend her son's at Broughton, and he's played travel soccer his whole existence and didn't make the JV soccer team. So I'm super thankful to be in a place where the kids all get to play, because that's huge for me. I value education in a big, broad sense. And if it was just learning, then I would worry. But I don't, because I like that. And I mean, I know that if we live somewhere different, we might have more access to more classes. It's just true. But at the end of the day, you have to decide what's important for your whole being and your whole self. I just got to go barefooted, take my kids and my pajama-clad self. We went to pick strawberries, came home, cooked some peas and corn and some cold rotisserie chicken. And we went and like waded in the water of the Albemarle Sound and threw the stick to the dog. And Blair found old bricks and was trying to build with them. You know, like I like the way we live. And I don't want to give that up. So anyway. Supporters, we'll see you in the morning. We have some pretty interesting, so in my supporter videos, we just kind of do general topics. But one thing we talked about today that we're going to talk a little more about tomorrow is what happened in Boone and some mental health things. And then we have a special guest coming on Sunday for our Sunday video. It's going to really be great. How to survive exiting the pandemic. And then we have a pediatric mental health counselor that's going to come on the next week. Something about a small historic town. I love mine. I do too. There are all these people driving around town, and they were honking at me tonight. So then I was just one car honked at me, and then I honked back. And Blair was like, "Oh my gosh, why did you honk?" She honked at you because you were in the way. I said, "I know. I was just honking hello." She goes, "Well, she wasn't honking hello to you." I was like, "I know that." Do we have a supporters meeting every morning? We do it, no, not every morning. Like today, we did it at lunch, Sunday mornings, Friday nights. I kind of let the supporters pick and choose times when works for everybody, just because everybody has different schedules. So we're flexible. We're usually trying to corner my husband to give us his law theories, but he's not a very willing participant. My dad enjoys it. He did one recently, and he was on really good behavior. The first time he did one, it's bad. Yes, it was quite disturbing. No, it was actually funny as hell. But if you're somebody that gets easily offended, the supporter group might not be a good place for you. And we have like serious like discussions and like testing, or it's great. Come to the dark side. It's worth $5 a month. I mean, hell, I went to Speedway today, and I think a coffee was like $3, and then I didn't even drink it because I started drinking Gatorade Zero, my healthy choice. Carry on, people. Carry on. See y'all tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.